never would have thought about three-dimensional, that your perspective is completely changed now. Now you're always being observed. And so if you take that into consideration, how do you even address that? I mean, you're talking about XYZ axis of like acknowledgement of where you are.
You have to, it can't be theoretical. You have to be in the field. You have to be trying it out, real force to force without scripted rules. Our Ukrainian friends are so much ahead of us because they are trying it out, and it's not a exercise, it's reality. It's people's lives. I think that would be a better question for Alexei or Mikola, because they're living it every day.
Yeah, let's turn to Alexei. And, as operations director of Ukraine, you're supporting our users and you see a breadth of technologies. So hand it over to you for your observations.
So I'm operation director of NUE Energy in Ukraine. I joined the company in the end of the 2022. So before that, from the start of the full-scale war, I was volunteering with my charity, and we do a lot of things. It's like evacuations of civilian people, a lot of work with the kids, some like medical aid bring to the hospitals, and a lot of other things. So what I can tell about like batteries, and like we work a lot with the militaries and with also humanitarian sector, with some critical infrastructure, with the hospitals. So the hospitals is our like a big main line, because they save lives. It's like military save lives, that they stand there on the front line, but medics save lives, behind them. And they have a lot of all the time they have a lot of like questions with the energy, because like they need a lot of um, a lot of medical stuff that need batteries, and all this blackouts in Ukraine. So how it works, like hospital have big generators, but to run the big generator you need a 15 minutes, and those 15 minutes can be critical to save someone's life. And in that point, they need some smaller and smarter energy stuff that like can so they can do their operations without interruptions. Also, what I see like from the 22 till now, that here is like less gray zones on a warfare, because like when we do some evacuation missions in the 2022, we can jump somewhere, where is like between the Russian soldiers and Ukrainian soldiers, and take some people out from there. Now you can't hide from drones, so it's like impossible. You're always on a map of someone, and so your life is all the time in a danger, because like you don't know when the FPV hits you or something else. So a lot of medics, also all militaries try to hide them with jamming technologies. So for that they need batteries, and there's also like a Starlink for connections between them, so jammers to hide and to protect their lives from the danger of a front line.
Alexei,
Yeah.
last time I visited you in Ukraine, there were a lot of attacks. Can you talk about how much power you had every day, and and some of the things that you did to get power? And I'm asking you this question because here in America, we just assume that we're going to have power. So if we're doing humanitarian operations or we're in the military in the field, we just plug in and we kind of cheat. But it's a different situation, isn't it, in Ukraine?
Yeah. So in this winter was totally hard because like a lot of like power grid of Ukraine is destroyed, and winter was hard because like we have a very small temperature. It's also not very good for our energy, so we don't have energy maybe 8 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 4 hours per time, and it can be like 2 times in a day. And that's actually, I live in a biggest western city, so I'm like pretty far from a war and from a front line, but we still don't have like 6-8 hours power in a winter. And it's like you can't, it's just like you think that's okay at the start. Okay, I will have a lamp on a battery or or something. I will survive somehow. But you even can't like boil a water or warm your house if you have gas, because like gas boiler, kettler, a lot of things near us are using electricity. And it's like if you don't have the power like 2 hours, it's okay. We are ready like for that from 2022. But this winter was critical because like it wasn't like here for like 6 hours, 8 hours, 4 hours, and it could be like a few times a day. And that's good if you know the schedule of it, because government try to stabilize somehow this. But if you have like a few more rockets on a power grid on some areas, so the big cities can't have like for more time without schedule this power.
Alexei, tell us a little
Yeah.
bit from the civilian side what the effect of Russian technology is today on the
From,
civilians.
from the civilian side, like, can you like talk more about this question?
No, I mean
Oh,
it's obviously Russia's waging a hybrid war, not only a military on military, but they're working to destroy the critical infrastructure of the country, which
yeah.
is again, it goes back to Robert's interesting theme of looking at Ukrainians as the insurgents and the guerrillas. When I practiced counterinsurgency warfare in the army, we would always look to subdue the population by taking out power, ability to communicate. Those were two of the critical factors. So, what's it like from the average person's perspective? And, obviously, you travel to the front and you see the gamut of Ukrainian experience, and you're referring to the extremely harsh winter conditions that the Russians were capitalizing on in order to with their attacks on the energy infrastructure to try to compound the misery to break the will. But talk to us a little bit about let's say, from where you are in the West, which is Western Ukraine, which is perceived as safe, over to the East as a civilian, and how does the experience differ?
So actually, like situation in all country was like the same when was winter, but we have here something like a points of resilience. It's like when you need to get warm or charge your phone, or when you're too much without power, so you can get there and have some warm water, like, or warm yourself, or like charge to communicate actually your gadgets. So it's like a more on the east, even on the Kiev, because like Kiev was attacked very much from the like in this winter, and in Kiev situation was like too bad, It's like Mykola can tell more. Mykola live in Kiev.
Alexei, I
Yeah.
remember, so I visited with Alexei in Lviv, which is the city where my family is from. And one neat story of resilience is the restaurants there, because they know they might not have power, they'll have blankets and on the seats, and they'll have grills outside, and they'll have generators and alternate means of just serving food and doing some of the normal things that we take for granted here in the US. So I just thought that's a really neat example of the resilience and creativity of the Ukrainian people. Are there other examples like that that you can think of that are neat examples to share?
Mm. So I see this was like I see on the internet, but like a private houses who have a generator and can launch their they can launch their power grid system to a generator, or they have a batteries and inverters. They do some they print some lists that, okay, guys, from a like 8th floor building, you can join us, because like you can come on this address, and we will help you with the boiling water, or or like with what you need.
That's really cool.
So
That's really cool.
yeah, that's in a Kiev. I saw that, because like there is different to help yourself, on a private house. It's easier, and it's very hard to do that on a 8 or more floor building, because like it launched to a city warm stations, and to like city electricity, and it's harder to do something on those
Yeah.
buildings.
Wait, I
Yeah,
love
but
the community.
that's
I love
critically, that's
Yeah.
very critically when you have kids. So I have less than 3 year daughter, and uh, it's okay when you're an adult, and you can survive somehow. But if you have a child and it needs all the time something, and actually it needs to be in a warm, um, I think that's one of the hardest thing in that.
I have a question across the board. For maybe we go to Mikola first, but it's a larger question that I have. It's about how does the Ukraine sustain both financially, psychologically, emotionally, and what is the human expense of that? I mean, how do you sustain? I mean, protracted invasion. And somehow, what I observe about your culture is that no matter how much abuse and it takes, you're able to mentally fight back. I mean, what is the nature of that? And because that is like the emotional power. I mean, we can talk about electricity, but I think what's critical is what is the emotional power behind all of this? Why do you think you guys have this? I mean, it's a pretty amazing comment to the rest of the world to observe. Nicola, could you answer? What's your thought?
Yeah, that Ukrainian very strong emotional people, but unfortunately, like see, our government don't have a plan. What we must to do if we want to protect or recovery our psychological mental health of our people. That's why in first point is we're emotional strong people, but second, people very different, and yes, we have a position like orphans, like women who lost their a man on the battlefield, and unfortunately, our government don't understand what they must to do if we want to protect mentally health. Then, if you ask it about people, unfortunately, we lost many people on the war. It's the guys who falling on the battlefield. It's the guys who lost their health. And I'm lucky. I'm lucky man. I have not one leg. I have not a second step. But I can see I have my fence, and I have a strong mental health. But unfortunately, we have many guys who come front line, and they never can walk because it's many reasons. And now in Ukraine, we unfortunately don't understand uh, what we must to do if we want uh, if we want restore human resource. We have not plan, unfortunately. But it's a very interesting point
Well,
for the
would you argue that your plan is to continue to substitute better and better technology for humans? I mean, that is
yes,
what you,
yes. I said about this 20 minutes ago.
correct.
Yeah, we have not people. That's why we invested in our technology, because in the war, every drone is more cheaper than soldier, because soldier you must training them, you must pay the salary, you must pay if he injured, or you must pay very money if he falling on the
Right.
battlefield.
So,
And
I mean, you keep going back to the story of economics here, which is something that, like you said, perhaps the driver in the US is we don't feel sensitive enough to the economics, um,
uh,
of the
yes,
innovation to drive it.
yes, and I tell about this that it's very interesting experience for for USA, because you can see on our problem, and you must and you understand what you must to do, and in the on the war, the drones more cheaper than soldier. Drone must protected soldier. Drones can't can't use drones if you have not good quality autonomic electricity. If you have not batteries, if you have not battery accum station, if you have not generators, you can use your drones. And that's why in modern war you have two key points: protect the soldier, because it's very expensive resource, and invest in technology, in technology and in the electricity. It's most
So
important.